Hey, what's going on everybody? So in this video, we're gonna talk about leverage trading, something I'm learning more and more about, and I'm actually hanging out right now in Bali with one of the best leverage traders I know. I've learned a ton from him, so why not share what he has, some of the knowledge he has, and actually the strategy he has. Why not share that with you guys? So we'll step out here and got my buddy out here. This is Conor Kenny, one of the best leverage traders I know. He's got a very, very unique strategy. Conor, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? Welcome to Bali.
Amazing, bro.
Zach, I appreciate it. Letting me back on the channel. What's up, man?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I was just telling the audience like how you were, kind of telling me about your strategy, what you've been doing recently. We were actually just talking over some coffee. So let the people know kind of how you've been playing the market here in 2024, your leverage trading strategy.
So I do have two styles. So I've been leverage trading for about maybe 4 years now. I've been trading in the market spot for about 8 years now, 7.5, 8 years. Back in late 2016, early 2017 was when I first got into Bitcoin. We didn't really have much of an opportunity as much then as we do now. So there's two methods, right? There's two methods. The one that we were discussing over the coffee is low leverage, high margin. What I mean by that is the numbers actually will change for everyone. Of course, high margin will change for everyone. But what I mean is the leverage is really low. So we're talking 2 or 3x. And this is where we get into the position. So for example of the trade that I actually did recently was on SUI. You can see the ending of the trade right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's about $18,000 we got in profit on that, which just happened now, right? It was insane. And the margin that's left as we had the 18,000 was $3,000.
Okay.
Now what's important to realize is I used more margin at the start.
Right.
I start the trade with a lot of risk, and then later on I reduce my risk.
And a lot of capital too, right?
Yeah,
a lot of startup.
Exactly. So I started the trade with actually $30,000.
Yeah.
And then slowly reduced it over time. Now, you can start this with $300,
right.
$30. That's the key to leverage, right? You don't get this opportunity on the spot market. So if I just go through this a little bit without too much depth, if you do want to check out my channel, I'm sure you'll leave it down
100%,
there.
yeah.
I'm going to go through this in more depth. But to break it down quickly, what you do is I identify an opportunity. The opportunity the other day, SUI. How did I know there was an opportunity? Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Okay, everyone's talking about it. It's just broken $1. We're not in price discovery, but that psychological level of $1. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a point where, SUI's $1 again? It's not a scam? Everyone's talking about it. Let's jump into it. And actually, where we are today, remind me before we finish, I've kind of switched this up a little bit, the thought process. But at the dollar region, I identified an opportunity, both with fundamental and technical. So the fundamental, the emotional dollar, the news, everyone's talking about
the
it.
next Solana, like this whole narrative, right?
Plus, Grayscale came out and spoke about it, and Franklin Templeton spoke about it. So we got a lot of fundamental stuff going on. We got a little bit of technicals here. We've broken some previous resistance, all of that sort of stuff. Combine that together. Okay, now I'm gonna take a calculated bet on the market, because leverage trading is betting.
Yeah.
Crypto in general is betting, but with leverage you're adding volatility, right? But you're adding potential upside, but also losses. So I'm going to open this leverage trade 3x, and I'm going to start with a massive amount of margin, right? Put that in, and what this does is it gives me about a 35% buffer. If I'm wrong by 35% and I see it coming down, my choice. I close the trade and take a 30% loss, or I add margin. So I can actually protect the liquidation by going down, right? And adding the margin. The reason why I'm willing to do that in this style of trading, this is different to another style I'll talk about, but the reason why I'm willing to do it is because I'm doing 3x instead of buying more spot.
Right.
So I'm actually just increasing my odds of profit because I'm so sure it's going to go up, right? So we were discussing.
And you give yourself more time, really, at the end of the day, right?
Exactly, yeah. And you don't actually need to use as much capital.
Yeah.
So I get access to, for in this example, 3x the amount of upside.
Right.
So if I put in 30 grand, I get 90 grand worth of SUI. Whereas I don't want to put 90 grand in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and with this style, if I'm correct, very quickly I pull out that margin. So using the TA, the fundamental, I decided it did pull back a little bit. Remember I showed you the next day we were in the red, right? But because in my head, this is the same as a spot trade. So price goes down, what do? Add, right? I buy more because I think it's gonna go up. So I'm like, this is the pullback. So yes, I didn't time it properly because I'm not perfect. I don't have a crystal ball, but what do I use? I've done my research. My thesis is it's going up. you know, maybe $2. That's the old all-time high. So I get in at $1, it goes to 94 cents. Perfect. Put a little bit more in. Goes a little bit lower, perfect, put a little bit more in. Then we started to bounce.
Yeah.
That's when the magic started to happen, right? So we went to, I think, 115 or so, 120. And now this is the key. This is the fundamental shift. And I see some people doing this, but not a lot. What you do is, because we started at such low leverage, you now increase your leverage. So you can go in, you can update it. Zach's got a little BITUNIX t-shirt here. We met these guys in Singapore. Really nice exchange, works really well, and you can do this on the exchange. So feel free to use Zach's link to sign up.
I got my margex link down there as well, guys. Check out margex. It's a really intuitive platform. I know.
And you can actually do this on margex too.
Yeah. Both of us have been crushing it with margex. I think people just love the platform. It's super easy to use. So links are down below.
So with that said, we go in, we increase the leverage a little bit.
Right.
And then we go to the margin, and there'll be a little icon that looks like a pencil, right? That means editing the margin.
Yeah.
You go in, and because you've increased the leverage, you now have access to the margin. And because you have paper gains, you use the paper gains to replace the margin.
Right.
So you pull out the margin, right? And at this point, I could pull out maybe $10,000-$15,000 because I've increased the leverage and I have the profit. So I pull out the margin, right? So now I've reduced, I don't remember the exact numbers, but just off my head, you know, now I reduced the number down to 15K as margin. It was 30K, now it's 15K. Then I just wait, right?
Yeah.
Just wait a little bit. And then we see the price actually increase. I don't think you can see the screenshots, but then the price increases.
Went up to like $1.50, I think, right? At some point,
and then it hit 150. So what did I do at 150? More leverage.
Yeah.
So by this point, we were at 4 or 5. Then I'd moved up to 6x, right?
Okay.
Then I pulled out even more margin. So now I've got about 3K left in the trade. Because we're up like 80-90% on the trade.
Right.
Because it's up 50%. Plus we've done the 3x. Because we've increased the leverage and the margin ratio, it's not gone up 150%.
Right.
Which, guys, it would have if I kept all the money in. But what are we doing? We're de-risking on the way.
Yeah,
right? So I don't mind because I de-risk.
Yeah.
Like I might have been wrong.
Get that basis back.
Exactly.
And feel good.
So then at that point, I had the 3K in, but all of the profit still there. So the screenshot I showed at the start with the 18,000, 3K of my own money, and then 18K of my paper gains.
Yeah.
That's all being used for my SUI position. And then last night, I'm looking at the chart, and I've actually just filmed a video about this on my channel. It might be a little bit of a risk now on SUI, so please go check that out. I'm sure Zach will leave a link. But what I did now was I thought, okay, enough's enough. I'm gonna pull the majority of this trade out. I took about 12 or 13,000, realized the gain, right? So I closed the position out, realized the gain into my account, perfect. Now I've got the 3K, my own margin left, plus maybe 4 grand left in the realized profit. And now we wait. Do we get a pullback? If the pullback happens, we revert to exactly the same thing we did in the first pullback. Pullback happens, let's say it goes down to 125, bit more margin, we go down. Then it goes down again, all right, bit more margin again. And if you want to, you can start again a new trade with the lower leverage, or you just add the margin in, right? So then my thesis and my plan now is the price comes down, right? But the key is I hedge myself if I'm wrong, right? Because I don't know what's going to happen. We could do a Cardano, boom, tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe it does a 10-20x tomorrow. So how do I hedge in case I'm wrong? I simply leave some in the trade. I say to myself, I've got my 14 grand out. What I'm willing to risk from that 14 grand is the 3K margin I've got left in. So now I have a completely risk-free trade. I make sure I put my stop loss so I can't lose that. Like the margin I can lose, but under there, it stops out. And then I'm risk-free, but I have access to the upside. Right? And then if it comes down, add margin, add margin, add margin, until I get to a point where maybe I've put enough in, and then I just say to myself, okay, that's acceptable amount. I don't know if I'm sure enough to put more in, and now I have to accept the loss, or we see how it goes, right? But what I'll do from here is I'll make sure I keep a bank of that profit. And then we just ride the wave. If the wave doesn't happen, maybe from, I got that 14K out, maybe I lose 5 grand from here. But I got that nice bit of profit out, and then what do? Tomorrow we start again. We maybe find SUI again. We find another opportunity. And that's the strategy.
One last thing, we were just talking over some coffee. You like Ethereum right now potentially, right?
Yes.
In a similar strategy.
Yes. So I'm thinking, I think a spot play on Ethereum or a very low leverage 2-3x. Simply put, Everyone hates Ethereum right now.
Yep.
So you've got the bulls and the bears, right? The bears say Ethereum's dead. The bulls say 10, 15K per Ethereum. So let's scrap all of that nonsense. Let's get rid of the noise. Let's say Ethereum, this bull run 4K. Brilliant. That's almost a 2x from here.
It'd be amazing.
So if I chuck on high margin, low leverage trade, 3x, right?
Yep.
And I get almost a double. Let's just call it 100% move, just for argument's sake. Mate, that's a 3x on a massive margin.
Yeah. It's not a great spot play per se,
No.
but it's a really low risk, great margin play.
Like, I'm here for 3x's.
100%.
I'm here for high margin 3x's.
Yeah.
Low margin, and I say that in a descriptive manner, like just a little bit of money on a meme coin that does 100,000x.
Sure.
I'm here for those plays.
Yeah.
But with my capital that I've built, I'm here for the 2-3x.
Right. High conviction.
Yeah, that's how we generate income. You know, Bitcoin, for example. I'm comfortable. If I make X amount of money a month, I'm comfortable with 50% of that just buying Bitcoin on spot.
Yeah.
Cold storage.
Do you trade Bitcoin much on margin, or you just kind of?
Not really, no.
I just kind of buy a little bit every day.
I spot buy it.
Yeah.
Basically, in my head, everything I do is to generate spot Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
And then when I make a really nice trade or I have a really good month, you know, one of these.
Like, exactly. Yeah.
So we're sitting in Bali right now.
You guys can take a peek at what we got cooking. Yeah, it's awesome, man. Yeah, Coming back from Singapore, token 2049. But dude, awesome stuff, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
No worries.
Links are down below, guys. I'll leave Conor's channel down there and that video he referenced. And my margex link is down below too if you want to check that out. I've also got a couple other links down there where you can trade with me. So guys, use this strategy. I'm telling you, Conor knows what he's doing. I've seen his phone. I've seen him open it up, and check out some awesome trades. So links are down below. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.